What's going on, everyone? Kami here, and it is March 19th. March 20th is when the new patch is going to get released, and I figured, well, I don't really feel like playing the game when the patch is coming out because some big changes are going on, and I want to go over them. And tomorrow I'm going to be playing a crap ton, trying out some of them, and then, of course, trying out ranked, like I said I would do it, because I'm not a dirty liar. Totally. Now, when I go over these patch reviews, it's going to be kind of similar to how I used to do it on Twitch. This will probably be a very lightly edited video, a lot of me rambling. Hopefully some people like that. But I'm going to try to, if I need to, if I ramble on a bunch, which I'm doing right now, I'll try to edit that out. But anyway, I'm going to go through the changes that I feel like are important to me, at least. This is opinion based, but let's jump right into it. Ranked rewards, ranked things getting changed. Nothing too big. I did want to go over, they're changing combinations again. I'm going to be skipping something. Well, call me, what was that? It's like, it's fine. We're moving on. The map pool, which I skipped over, I believe. Where is it? Here we go. It's hidden in here. In the rotation and out of the rotation, since I will be playing ranked, I was like, what maps are we going to be able to play? Maps going out of the rotations, Ascension Peak, whatever, Bright Marsh. I cried myself to sleep when I read this. Dawn Forge, I'm a fan of it, but I know some people aren't, so like it's whatever. And then Frog Isle, Shattered Desert. I kind of label these maps as, I don't know, there's a few of them that I really enjoy. There's like Jaguar Falls, Serpent Beach, Splitstone Quarry, Stone Keep, and Bright Marsh are like my favorite maps. And then the majority of the other ones are just kind of meh. Dawn Forge is a little bit farther up there for me. That's just my hot take. But then you have maps like Shattered Desert, Warder's Gate, trying to find more here. I swear I'll find it. Bazaar, maybe a little bit lower, but a lot of them are just kind of meh. And then you have the ones that I really don't like Fish Market and Chamber Mail and Frozen Guard. I'm not a big fan of those, so I'm not super happy that they're in there. But the majority of the ones getting taken out were, I think, just kind of replaced with ones like a lot of meh ones getting taken out and some meh ones getting put in there. So I'm fine with that. Anyway, moving on. We want to mainly focus on not the map restoration. You know, it's great that there's a poster up and it looks prettier. Kudos to the art development out there for high res. They do fantastic, but doesn't really affect me too much. Flashback event, too much reading. You know how it be. New rotations of modes coming in. Here we go. Here's stuff that I care about. Balance. Now, the first one coming out is the aim assist. It's getting reduced by 25%, I think, across the board. It's kind of weirdly worded, where fast-firing short-range weapons like Talus, Koga, and Lex, yes, we all know good controller players on Talus, Koga, Lex are absolutely terrifying. They run at you and they kill you, and there's nothing you can do. Guess I'll die. This is getting reduced by 25% at base and maximum, while the other ones are just getting reduced 25% at base. I don't really fully understand what that means. If you want to let me know down in the comments what it means, but I don't know. In general, it's getting reduced. They're also adding in bullet magnetism for like Strix pistol, Sati hand. Yeah, Sati has none. Oh, interesting. And then the V burst and automatic mode. So they're adding it in, but they're also reducing the effectiveness of it. I am super interested to see how this is, because the thing is, when people play on PC and they plug a controller in and they have a computer that can run at 144 hertz, there's something about having that extra FPS that makes it so the bullet magnetism just snaps that much harder. And it makes it feel like they're aimbotting. There's so many times I die and I'm like, that person's either aimbotting or on controller. And I never thought I'd say that in my life, but I've said it multiple times while playing Paladins. So I am super excited about this. I am all for getting shoved in my face with a bunch of controller players that still were dominating me, but can still dominate me, and being like, see, it's not the aim assist. But I do think the aim assist was a little overtuned for people abusing it at the higher FPS. So I hope that tones it down a bit. And I'm sure a lot of other people are going to be happy about that too. Reduce the maximum size of hit markers by 50%. Okay. Scaling based damage made linear. Scaling based on damage made linear. I'm not sure what that means exactly. But I do know that like when you're doing a hit marker, it pretty much goes over here in the description that like things are getting cluttered on the screen and we want to tone down when you hit them and you see the hit marker. It's not going to blow up on your screen and it makes it a little less cluttery. Cool. I'm happy with that. Ranked matchmaking. Tighten the allowing rank gap in lobbies containing Diamond Plus players. Ooh, so it makes it so like, I remember back when I used to grind ranked a lot and I would play like, get up to Masters and GM or whatever the max rank is in this game is called. That was rough because the matchmaking didn't know what to do. So it was like a GM with a bunch of gold players. And then it was just a bunch of diamond people on the other side, and their coordination and the fact that they were all just a little bit better at the game, or maybe a lot of bit better. I don't know. Made it so it was hard for that master player to just be like, bro, I'm carrying over here all by myself. So it was not fun. It wasn't fun for the people for the master player, and it wasn't fun for the gold players to be like, why am I in here? Like I got to bring this person's elo down so it's more of even. It didn't feel good. So I hope that this helps. I am going to be jumping into ranked here soon, at least to do the placement games. and I don't know if this is going to affect me that much. I've been out of ranks for so long, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm placing gold or something like that. I'll be all for that. Good times. Item shop. Some things getting nerfed. Arcane Warding reduces damage done 12%, 10%. I don't fully understand this. I don't see the reason to buy Arcane Warding that much. This is the one that reduces the damage of abilities done to you. Well, whatever. Armor Plating reducing the damage done to you from in-hand weapons. This needed to be nerfed. I think it's 1%, so it's 3% at max, or 2% at level 2, which is where most people get it pretty early on in the game. I don't know. Maybe it'll make a big difference. I think it's fine, though. I think this is good. I don't understand this. Like, make this more appealing. Make this appealing to me to pick it up for like a seedling willow. Because the other thing you want to do to reduce the damage done from abilities is just to not get hit by them. I know that sounds dumb and not easy to do, but I mean, like a seedling drops, it's gonna take a second to explode. You can move out of it and mitigate a lot of damage, whatever. Sentinel and Unbound. I'm gonna go over these in a second because I want to talk about them for one-on-one, two-on-one, whatever you want to say. We'll move on to Trigger Scent. Now only affects weapons. So Trigger Scent makes it so when you get an elimination, you get bonus damage. It's now getting amped to 6%, but it's now only affecting weapons, which means ultimates, things, abilities, stuff like that, they don't get increased on top of it, creating just an unfun experience, getting like 1 or 2 shot. I feel like you're getting steamrolled. Veteran, reduce the health bonus. Apparently this was too strong. Did not know that. But hey, and then Unbound. So Unbound and Sentinel. I've talked about this before. I had a little altercation with someone in the comments, which we handled like true people and apologized for the way that we kind of conducted ourselves. And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like we were throwing bad words at each other. But one of the previous videos I went over, I was explaining the difference between Sentinel and Unbound. And the way that I described it is, in Unbound, it will reduce the amount of time that a CC is on you. If you get feared by a Dama, you get stunned by a Dama, you get feared by a V or whatever that thing is called, where you wave your hands up like you just don't care. That will not last as long. Whereas if something were to be slowing you, like a Grok ult, or an Inara cripple, anything that's like slowing, knock up, knock back, that will help you with that, right? Sentinel will help you with that. Unbound doesn't. Unbound only affects, as the person described in the content or in the comments, it's hard CC, and that is a good way to put it. Like pretty much if it's something that locks you out, I'm pretty sure cripple's included. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but like cripple, stuns, ears, things where you're just like, I can't move, I can't do anything with my keyboard. I press buttons and nothing happens. That's a hard CC, and that's what Unbound is going to prevent it from lasting as long. Whereas Sentinel, it only affects how hard you get booped or how much the slow is going to hurt you by. Now, here's the thing that's blew my mind. I'm just going to briefly touch this. Nothing reduces the duration of slows. So if you look at someone like Buck that does damage for the amount of time that they're slowed, and you go Ensnare, which increases the duration by 0.5, and then you increase it with a loadout card going up to 1.5, I think you can get up to a full 4 seconds. What's weird is Pip just says when you hit him with an explosive flask, you get 4 seconds of damage uppage, which he shoots every 1 second, so you get 4 shots in theory if you do it perfectly. But it kind of blew me away, and I was like, why is Buck not more strong? Because you can't stop it, right? And of course the bug going on where you get max life rip, which was fixed, and we'll go over that in a second, but I've never noticed that. Like, I've never noticed that there's no way to reduce the amount of time that you're getting slowed. But to be fair, there's only a few champions, and correct me if I'm wrong, Buck, Pip, and I guess Ray. Ray, apparently when you go focus and you get slowed, that slow feels miserable, but you can still go Sentinel to prevent how hard you're getting slowed, but there's nothing to like reduce the time being slowed. I thought that was kind of crazy, but I guess not that big of a deal unless you're Buck. Go maxed out duration. Let's go. Oh, now we get the champions. Ooh, fun times. Look at us go. Azan, Flames of Wrath. Increase the lip duration by 10 to 20%. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't love this. The reason is because I think that the card Flames of Wrath is affecting your ability, the one where you right click, your second ability, your left trigger, your right click. It's the one that makes it so you throw it out, it kind of throws it across, and you knock them up. Where this is going to make it to where it's going to knock them up even longer, and it interrupts movement abilities. It feels like you can just throw it out even a little bit before the movement ability, even a little bit after they do the movement ability. It's going to interrupt them, and it's just not fun feeling. You have to wait out that ability to get out, but now it's going to be even more miserable. By the way, I guess I didn't mention this. I know I'm all over the place. Classic. Unbound was working to where it was reducing the effectiveness of slows. Now it's not going to do that. Sentinel's going to do that because that's what it says it's supposed to do. So Unbound was just too strong. It was working unintended. Oh yeah. Not a huge fan of this. Atlas, Ravages of Time. I think I have this over here. Yeah, I do have this over here. Ravages of Time, usually you generate 2% of your ult charge The site just keeps loading nonstop. It generates 2% of your ult charge after getting an elimination. Now it'll increase your movement speed after an elimination. Lasts for 4 seconds. I like that they're trying to keep most of these durations of movement speed set at like 4 seconds. 4 seconds feels good. I'd be even okay with 3 seconds, but yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's okay. I'm never gonna pick it up because, you know, I'm not a big fan of things after eliminations, but whatever. And then lessons of the past. Looking at this, you gain a shield after hitting an enemy with setback. Now you get the shield for longer. You used to only get it for 3 seconds. Now you get it for 5 seconds. So Atlas overall, I would say a buff maybe if you run this loadout card, but nah, not really that big of a deal. Accelerator field with Barrack. Okay, so I never run Accelerator field. I think it's a legit card. It feels pretty good when you run through it, but like most of the time, if you're a DPS, you don't really want to be running through the Barrack shield. You want to be like hiding behind it. I don't know, but now they're making it so the movement speed is faster, but it doesn't last as long. Again, they're normalizing everything to 4 seconds with the movement speed, which I do really like. It's easier to balance across everything. Of course, Barrack can use it if he walks through it. Then he can shield dance a little bit better. But I think this is a buff in my opinion for Barrack, but not much that'll really matter. Betty, the card that just increases your explosive radius, we used to be 2% per, now it's 4% per. So you can get up to 20%. That's kind of scary. I mean, in the long run, like I think that's scary. It's just more annoying Betty stuff. But then again, the card felt pretty meh before that. So I guess it was needed. We'll see how bad it is. How many people are running level 5 Lost Realm and just blowing up the entire map. Can't wait. Buck, this is going to be the same for Pip. I released videos here semi-recently talking about Buck and Pip with their life rip scaling to where you can get 60% life rip with your items, obviously. But then the way that the loadout cards were worded for Buck and Pip was said like when you hit them, it granted lifesteal from the ability or something like that. I can't remember. I think I have it up over here. I do have it up over here. Fantastic. So we're looking over here at Boley. It reads gain 12% lifesteal against targets slowed by net shot, which is not actually just lifesteal. So the way that it worked is it would stack together. You'd max that out at level 5. You get 60 plus 60. You'd have 120% lifesteal. Insane. Now, when you right click, you'll just get a flat 2.5 seconds of lifesteal. What I love is it says, no longer would you activate this card just to have an enemy die and lose the effect. Huzzah. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. It also makes it so Buck no longer has 120% life steal on a target and feeling absolutely unkillable. That's also really good. But now it says that it scales properly with life rip. I'm gonna browse over this really quickly when we go into Pip because it's the same concept. But just to make sure you understand, the old way that it was worded, it made it so the life rips were to stack it together and give an insane amount of life rip. Now, if you get maxed out life rip as an item, and then you max out life rip with the Bully, which by the way got nerfed 12% to 10%, but whatever. Max that out 50 and 60, you're not getting 110. You're probably only getting like, I don't know, 80, 90, something like that. Diminishing returns hits hard. Every point you get when you're combining two big numbers, you don't get as much per point. So a Buck nerf for sure on Bully. Bounce house Bucks, they don't care, right? It be that way. Dredge, haul on the bow line. All on the bow line. Rework to instead increase the reload speed by 8% after shortcut for 3 seconds. So this made it so where if you go through your shortcut, it made it so you had increased movement speed. But it kind of felt weird because a lot of people ran the one where you get like a bunch of bounce height and use it for mobility and getting up on high ground, all that fun stuff. And the reload speed, that'll just be nicer, right? To have the movement speed you don't really get to take advantage of because you're flying through the air the majority of the time. So I think this is a buff. I think this makes it more appealing to me personally. And it also probably caters to more aggressive types of dredges, but we'll see. And then gun deck, I believe, was actually pretty good dredge. Where are you at? Gun deck. I want to make sure I get my information correctly. Increases your maximum ammo by 1. Now will also give 3% reload speed. So maxed out, you're getting 15% reload speed and 5 more ammo. I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know about other loadout cards. There might just be other loadout cards you'd want instead of that, but they essentially said they buffed it because they wanted to make it more appealing to pick. And it definitely is. Not sure about the dredge. Fernando, probably one of the biggest changes and something I think that has been changed, needed to be changed for a while. Shield is going to act like you have Aegis. It's called Chivalry. Very fancy. It reduces the cooldown from 12 seconds to 0.5 seconds. That's not a typo. That literally is what it is. The 0.5 seconds you can barely feel. It literally just feels like Aegis, right? But the HP has been reduced 5,500 to 4,500, which is a pretty big nerf in the HP. But you can pop it up whenever you want. You know what I mean? Let it recharge. Let yourself get hit for a little bit. Oh, cauterizes on me. I'm low. Pop my shield up for 2 seconds. Get a couple of big heals. Go back to the game. This is going to make Fernando, I think, a lot more viable. I'm not going to say he's like going to be amazing, but like, Then when I say amazing or viable, I mean like while not running Aegis, because Aegis felt like it was mandatory because it just felt weird not having the ability to pop up your shield whenever you want, like Reinhardt. The card Towering Barrier now gives you 5% shield regen per value or per point instead of 6%. I assume it's just to tone down how aggressive or how maybe overpowered this is going to be, but I mean, we'll see. And then Aegis now will act as if, I mean, Aegis does kind of the same thing. Chivalry regeneration rate and decreases delay by 25%. Chivalry's regeneration rate and decreases regeneration delay by 25%. And the minimum shield you need to activate it will be, instead of 25% to 20. So yeah, let's say your shield gets busted down and then it's recharging. At 20%, you can pop it up if you go Aegis. And it also increases your shield back up to the normal 5,500. I sure hope. I mean, like, it's going to be hilarious if you're just running Aegis anyway after Aegis is still built into the kit. But I don't know. I think it'll be fine. They might need to buff up some of the other talents. Make the Fireball be spammable a little bit more. Make Scorch a fun thing. But I think they're way more viable now. 100% because you have Aegis built in. The 4,500 though. Wrecker exists. Also just regular left clicks exist. So very interested to see how that's going to go. Furia. Now, a lot of the supports had their... What do they call them? The keywords, curative keywords. They're trying to remove a lot of the keywords because they thought it was a good idea and then they realized it wasn't a good idea. They would have thunk it, but it just makes, I think it just made balancing way harder, I guess. But that's my look at it. Reduce the ultimate charge gain from healing and dealing damage by 15% in flame. I'm assuming that is her, I'm scrolling through her left click. No, that's her Pyroblade. And, okay, never mind. I'm dumb. So you just get 15% lower ultimate charge when you're dealing damage and healing, so you can't ult as much. Her healing got increased because they removed the keyword, so this will bring it up a little bit. I don't know the exact numbers if it's going to be better or worse. Your Cherish now gets a 35. It used to give a 35 AoE heal range, now it goes to 50. Exterminate, so they just remove the surgery keyword. And then Solar Blessing, it's increasing the healing tick for the beam from 150 to 175. And it also heals Furia when you throw it out, which is pretty amazing. It also states, does not linger on her when she leaves its area. Linger on her. So there's a little bit of a heal afterwards when you get healed, so I don't know if it's referring to that, or if it's saying that the beam won't stop on you when it hits you. Does it even do that nowadays? I don't play enough Furia. I tried to do a little bit of research on everyone for people that I don't really know, like Furia, but I didn't fully understand this one. Refiring Pyro Strike stops it into place. Any ally in its beam is healed for 150 for 0.1 seconds or 1.5 seconds. Additional hits refresh the duration. So maybe it just doesn't refresh the duration. You just get that one healing tick from it. Maybe that's what it's saying. Or maybe, again, it's just saying that it won't stop on it. But I don't even think it does. I think you have to refire it to get it to stop. I'm a Furia main, confirmed. Reworked the card Righteous Path to increase your movement speed by 6%, scaling for 3 seconds after using Wings of Wrath. I believe the old one was Righteous Path. I had it here. I swear I had it. Oh, it makes it so you, instead of your dash going farther, it just makes it so you get movement speed afterwards. Didn't really read through this, but I think it was because the amount of distance that she could cover with her dash was just a little bit busted, or people weren't just using them and then they wanted to make it more appealing. Who knows? I think giving things movement speed just makes the game more enjoyable, right? Little crazy people. Grok. I played Grok. I enjoyed Grok. I was like blown away with how far I could heal with Spirit's Domain, but a lot of people were like, Kami, you're dumb. Spirit's Domain is booty. You're healing your teammates. You're not dealing damage. And that's 100% true. I didn't want to make it seem like Grok Spirit's Domain felt overpowered, but it felt nice. The fact that I could give 20% movement speed base to people with my left click, and I could have it built into my loadout cards. I don't know. It just felt like I was very helpful. Like I wasn't doing damage in healing. I was more like healing and movement speed. Like that was what Grok was bringing to the table. Also, the ult gives reduced movement speed while giving increased movement speed. So he was a very much like make people go zoom zoom and make the other team don't go with zoom zoom. Is that enough to make him viable, or do you just need someone that can do damage while also healing? I don't know. But since they removed the keywords, they increased the healing tick rate of the healing totem. Too bad the healing totem has a healing totem syndrome of like not ever placing it wherever you want. I don't know. Last time it was actually not that bad, but you get a little bit more ammo with the Spirit's Domain, and again the 20% movement speed when you shoot on them, I thought was noticeable, but I kept asking people that I was playing with, and they were like, I didn't notice it. And I'm like, okay, my bad. I don't know. Totemic Ward removed the remedy keyword and removed the 15% bonus healing, and I think this is to counteract the fact that it's healing like literally 33% faster, or what is it? Yeah, 33% faster. So I think that, I don't know if it's a nerf or buff. If it is, it's going to be very tiny. And then remove the surgery keyword and increase the damage from Maelstrom from 5 to 10. That sounds depressing. Like, oh, your damage is 5, now it's 10. Like, it doesn't feel that much, but I'm interested to see how it goes. Maybe Grok Totem is the play. I just like Maelstrom because it feels, or not Maelstrom, but I like Spirit's Domain because it feels gratifying to do it. I feel like I'm helping them with the movement speed, and I can see their health just go up really quickly. But I agree, you're not doing damage, you're not helping out too much. Speaking of damage and other things that things can bring, aka supports, Grover is now getting the deep roots that he deserves. He now will place a cripple when he throws a crippling throw. And by cripple, I mean a root. They'll stop in place. So if you pick up deep roots, you left trigger or right mouse button, they will just stop in place. Cool, I dig it. Pick up your Unbound, you know what I mean? Amani, the movement card, this used to increase how fast you were to fly, kind of like that. Now that's built into the base kit. It works at the efficiency of a level 4. Pretty good. I tried it out. Felt okay. Felt good enough, right? It made me realize that even if I was putting a level 5, it doesn't do exactly what you want to do, but it does. It lets you wiggle a little bit while you're trying to avoid stuff. But now, instead of it increasing the speed of which you fly, now you get movement speed during the Frostfire, or after using the Frostfire glide, and it's for 3 seconds. We were just talking about earlier about the movement speed being like normalized to 4 seconds or something like that. I don't know. 3 to 4 seconds, both of them are fine. Whatever. Moving on. Koga, I got lost. Stamina. Don't get confused by this, okay? They're just renaming energy to stamina. That's it. They said it fit more with a ninja, and Koga wants to be a ninja. Now, here's the thing that I've heard a lot of people freaking out about, that the talent Adrenaline Junkie requires 120 to 80 damage per tick. I don't know if people knew this, but like that was what it was 2 patches ago. It went from 80 to 160, because I remember it getting doubled, and they were just like, we're just doing this because he's busted and we need to fix this. And then they went down to 120, and then went down to 80. The other counter measure that they made to make sure that it doesn't feel too overpowered is that it no longer counts damage dealt to shields for triggering the talent. Now, I think that's huge. I think it's absolutely huge. And they even bring up the fact that the way that worked with Wrecker made it so you could just farm the crap out of your energy / stamina, and it just made him feel a little bit too overpowered or oppressive, I guess is a better word. The other thing to note is I don't know why I'm scrolling up to mention this, but I've already devoted to myself to doing this, that the bullet magnetism for the fast firing, I don't know, Koga, was reduced. So Koga in general, a lot of times when you're getting shredded, probably was from a controller player, and now it won't feel as oppressive, and plus they can't farm their stamina on shields. Fair enough. I dig it. Lex, the man himself is getting a lot of changes, mainly around the heroism, because people that are good, they just want to go through and spam their heroism and go pew 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 pew, felt really oppressive, because it was like, please, you're just damage reduction all the time, the man's moving at mock speed, what do we do here? They've now increased the cooldown from 3 seconds to 8 seconds, but now you again get crowd control immunity during your combat slide, and you've increased the damage reduction to half. So you have to use your dash a little bit more smartly. I couldn't think of a better word that was actually just the perfect word to describe that. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of heroism. I feel like the dash feels a little clunky, even though you can do it in the air. The way that you kind of turn, you're kind of locked in when you're looking around. I wish you could just do a 180 and break your back to get some shots. But I think this is a good change, and it's not going to feel like Alexis running through and just completely dominating your team. But he can still time it and get some really good crowd control immunity effects from it. And it's also just a good, you're fighting, and it makes sense. There is the loadout card too that makes it so you reduce the cooldown every time you hit your shots. So hit your shots and you're still going to have a 6 second cooldown or 5 second. You start going Chronos, you could almost get down to 3 seconds again. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe down to 4 seconds because of things. Makoa, Harden. This is the card that increases the damage reduction you take after a hook. It was 2 seconds, now it's 4 seconds. 100% I think this needed to be, yeah, I very much agree with so many times you hook someone, you're like, aha, I got you, and they're like, idiot, I got you, and then their whole team just smacks you. That was a loud clap. Good job, me. So I like this change. Very much like this change. Damba, my favorite change out of the whole patch. When I first read this, it used to say, okay, so now it increases the healing tick rate. Instead of every 0.25 seconds over 4 seconds, now it's every 0.125 seconds over 2 seconds. You get the same amount of healing, but it's faster, which means those really small moments, those really small windows where they're caught free and you want to get a heal out, This is going to be it for it. Oh my goobers, this video is so long. We're going to keep flying through. Slither, increase the movement range from 54 to 60. Great. Yes. I mean, like, maybe you'll notice it, maybe you won't, but like, it'll just be nice. These are the cards that I was a little bit afraid of because it used to say reduce the damage taken by 4% for as long as you have ally or mending spirit going on, but it only lasted for 2 seconds, which means you don't get it for that long. Now they've reworded it to where it just flat out gives you the damage reduction for 4 seconds after you hit it. You're easily going to be able to keep that up 100% of the time. That's amazing. This one gives the movement speed for after hitting someone with mending spirits, staying the same. They just updated the description for 3 seconds. And then the healing, which what is this? 0.2 times 5. So if you max this out, it's 20 times 100. You get 100 HP a second. You get 500 HP over 5 seconds. I mean, maxed out. I mean, that's not terrible. You're just kind of popping out and getting the heal, and then you just have this like constant heal taking on you. But I do think for me, my loadout is going to look very similar to what it looked before. I'm going to be maxing out Possession. I'm probably going to be maxing out Swift Spirits, maybe putting that at like a 3 or 4, and then maxing out the Gourd cooldown. Nothing really changed, but like he's better. Like he dashes a little bit farther, whatever, but the heals come out so much quicker. It's going to feel mausing. And I'm super excited for that. And I'm super excited that they changed this to 4 seconds and not just the duration of which they're being healed. Nice. Nyx. Decrease the bonus damage with the Devastating Blow card that makes it so it could proc the bonus damage, the range with their left click or basic attack. They're toning it down a bit. Yes. Like, I don't know. Nyx can feel pretty strong. Pip, again, I said I'm going to glance over this. They reworked it to where the lifesteal doesn't proc or doesn't work. It doesn't work like it used to, and it's not going to be as 100% lifesteal on targets. It's going to scale the same way, so it's going to have diminishing returns with the life rip item. Cool. Rom, the Juggernaut, now also applies a 900 impulse knock back. So Juggernaut already, if you get ran through with this movement ability, it knocks you up. Now it's going to knock you back and up. Fantastic, right? War-Torn Plains, this one used to increase, or it used to decrease the time it would take for you to go to 0 to 100. So if you start firing with your Gatling gun and go, and then you're full firing. What this now does is it decreases the time, or I guess I should just read this verbatim, increase the time it takes to spin down your Hellfire Gatling, which means if you're firing at full force, and then you stop for a second, you look around, you see a new target, and then you start firing again. If you have this maxed out, was it 30? 35% at 5 points? Makes it so it doesn't wind down as fast. So if you stop for a second and then you go fire at someone, it's still going to be ramped up pretty high to where you can get to that max fire rate that much quicker. I think it's good, and it doesn't cause the Vivian syndrome where you just never want to let go of the left click. That's not fun. Declaration of War. This will now not only increase the knockback or the knockup bonus, it's getting scaled to 4% to 7%, but now also makes it so the knockback strength is being added in to the Juggernaut. Will also get scaled by 7%. I think they're just trying to make it so the item that reduces the knockbacks and stuff like that is more applicable and more like, oh, they have these this comp and I should go this item. They're trying to make items feel more choice driven instead of I pick up this every time, you know. And the biggest change for Rom now also gives him crowd control immunity during the Juggernaut. I mean, I don't love this, but also he needed it. Like, let's be real here. Rom against anyone that has any sort of CC was just dead. They've just wait for him to start up his dash, and then they would cripple him, Shaolin or something, and they were just dead. I also remember when this used to give CC immunity, and I would see a Rom come in and then dash out and be like, oh, he's gone, later. There's nothing you could do about it. So, but he needs it, because like if you go into a blind pick scenario and you pick Rom against a bunch of people that can get you out of it, it's like, I'm dead. So I think they're just trying to make it more universally okay to pick Rom in a casual setting, and I think that's okay. It might not be great. Who knows? Skye. This one actually is the biggest change in my opinion. This is the change to Smoke and Daggers down here, which we'll get to in a second, is probably one of the biggest changes that people have been asking for forever. But anyway, Slip Away, move to the hidden cards, is reworked to now heal for 1.5% of your max HP, scaling every 0.5 seconds while in hidden. I mean, that's 7.5 seconds. I mean, is that scaling every 0.5? No, am I reading that wrong? I'm pretty sure you can get up to like 7%, 7.5%. And it's every 0.5 seconds, which means you're healing for about 14% of your health a second while you're in your hidden. I mean, I heard Dingo running this, and he said it felt pretty darn good. Emergency exit. It just got moved to armor cards, whatever. That's the one that procs when you get certain low. It just procs your stealth and goes, hey, here's a free stealth. So that was just moved to an armor card. That just kind of makes sense. Preparation. Reduce the max duration penalty. So preparation makes it so your stealth only lasts for a certain amount of time and you can't increase it. So that loadout card that increases the duration of your stealth, dumb. Don't grab that because it's not going to help with your preparation. Well, now it's instead of 3 seconds, it's 4 seconds, which an extra second is a huge thing in this game, right? I definitely think. The damage mitigation, instead of being 75%, went down to 50%. And then holy, she gets another hidden shard. She gets 2, bro. That's so good. You get 2 smoke bombs. You get 2 hiddens. No illuminate. Like, I get it. Everyone gets like a 1.5, level 1.5 to level 2 illuminate, but like, I don't know, man. I was told it's pretty good. I definitely will be trying this out when it comes out. I wanted to try it out before it came out, but then I realized that it did not give a second charge. I thought it always did that, but it doesn't. And I'm like, wow, that actually makes it viable. Now, it doesn't say that it refunds the ammo. The one that's currently iterated says, or I guess not currently because the patch is out, but the old one used to say that it reloaded automatically. This one doesn't say that. So if it doesn't do that, that would make sense because this getting a whole extra hidden is pretty good in my eyes and good enough. Smoking daggers. She can now go in stealth when she goes smoking daggers. They removed it a while ago. Apparently it was too overpowered. Now it's fine. Cool. And they increased the healing from 100 to 150. Now the whole concept of Skye being a healer, my old man brain is like, oh, the flanker should flank. But I mean, it's kind of cool. But also it's just, even if I don't agree with people wanting to heal on Skye, it at least, for me, I was like, why can't she go stealth in it? Like, that's so silly. Like, she doesn't heal enough. That's the reason I don't want this guy to go stealth or to heal heals. Is even as a secondary healer, doesn't feel like it's enough. But who knows? I mean, this could maybe be enough. I don't think she could be a solo healer, but it definitely buffs that she needed for a while. Strix, remove the effective range penalty with crack shot, the one where you don't have to aim down sight to shoot. I mean, they thought they were worried that it was going to be too powerful, and then they were like, it probably won't be. I don't think it will be, because when you're shooting an incredibly long range, man, and you gotta hit those shots, you might as well be scoping anyway. But there are some situations where you're just kind of a little bit out of that effective range, and now that's not gonna be an issue anymore. Cool. I think I need to take a sip of water. There we go. We're wrapping it up. We're almost there. We're nearing it's past 30 minutes. Terminus, Massacre Axe. Aim is no longer cached prior to his animation. So this made it so where if you were at a location and then you swung, wherever you swung, that's where it was like, that's the axe. Like, imagine if Terminus were to swing his axe and then he just materialized and then there was just this ethereal axe that swung. So that made it to where he would swing and then backpedal. And even though it looked like he shouldn't hit, it didn't matter because it cached where he swung it. It snapshotted where it swung. I don't know. And it made it so you could just swing in the backpedal, and then that was the best way to do it. Going forward, it didn't matter because as soon as you swing, even though you're running past that swinging location, it didn't matter. Now it will. So it allows him to be a little bit more aggressive. Sorry if I didn't explain that very well. We all know I'm very bad at explaining things. It do be how it do be. Yep, do. He. Thorvald, Wind Dancer. They just nerfed the movement speed. It starts out at 10%. It used to start out at 10%, 5%. Now it's 8%, 3%. Sure. I mean, like, zoom. Thorvald, not fun to play up against in general. Good Torvalds at least. Bora, Broken Promises. Well, I think I have this up over here. No, I actually didn't bring Bora up. Why did I bring Bora up? Let me just, extend this video a little bit more. I imagine I wanted to make this video as short as possible. I wanted to go through it as fast as I possibly could, but holy, it doesn't seem to be doing that well. So Broken Promises used to heal when you obliterate, which I assume is your Q, your ability 1, whatever you want to call it. It scales harder. See, okay, so it's 100. You can get it to 500 extra healing. They also made it to where the False Idol, which the False Idol says increase your movement speed by 5% and gain 5% lifesteal for 2 seconds after falling to or below 40% health, will now last longer, give more lifesteal, and give more movement speed. I think that's fair. I think that's 100% fair because you're falling below 40% life. It's not like you're swinging at a massive speed, so you want to be able to take advantage of a little bit more. I'm into it. And then Unified with In Purpose reduces the damage taken after you hit your Obliterate. No, sorry, your Dark Siphon. Ooh, no, your Obliterate is your slam. That's what it was. I'm dumb. Anyway, instead of you getting 10% DR for 1 second, you get 6% DR for 3 seconds. Again, the 1 second just didn't feel good. They're just trying to normalize it to a 3 to 4 to 5 second duration so you can feel it. And I think that's super good. I'm a big fan of that. But I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming this is a buff. I never ran False Idol. I never ran Broken Promises, and I never ran Unified in Purpose. I think Unified in Purpose might be better now because you can literally hit your Dark Siphon and then dash in, and you'll have that DR. Or you can tendril in and then Dark Siphon as you're landing, and then you get that DR for the entire fight. Because fight's in pretty quick. Willow, Flutter. I don't know why it says that it's under Flutter for the ability, but in general, Willow can now just hold spacebar and then they will float. Feels like Echo, and maybe not as good as Echo, but I don't know why I'm bringing an Overwatch to this. It feels good. It feels like something she should have had for a long time. Is it too overpowered? I don't think so. They might need to do something with it if people feel like it is, but don't remove the ability to hover. You know, maybe tone down the amount that you can shift in midair, or the speed of which you can do it. And also make it so you can't like do that tech where you just fly across the map by holding your auto fire down and looking down. You don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my Willow video. I do it at the very beginning of it, and it's very silly. I don't actually use it in the game because I'm not good enough, but whatever. And then lastly, Ying. It used to have a card that increased your movement speed by 40% for 3 seconds when dropping, or no, sorry, used to increase your movement speed when you're out of combat, and they were like, that's silly. Now they make it to when you drop below 30% health, or 30% or lower, you'll get movement speed for 3 seconds being 40%, and you can put more points into it to make it so it procs more than once every 30 seconds. It'll be 30 seconds, 25, 20, you know what I mean. I think that's a fantastic change. I think it's good. 30% feels a little bit rough for a support with such low HP and not really a way to get out, but it'll make it to where, like, if you get to below 30% life and you hit your teleport, if you happen to also still be going into slight danger, you have a little bit more defensive maneuverability. So yeah, I like it. I like it way better than the movement speed out of combat. That felt weird. And that's it, man. Looking over it, I think the biggest changes for me is the Damba one, the Skye one, and the Fernando one. I think those are the biggest one. I guess maybe the Pip and Buck, because those two things were kind of busted. Mainly the Buck, man. 120% lifesteal, that's just too much. But I'm super excited about the Damba change. I can't wait to play them. Flex change is pretty big, I guess. Koga, people are probably terrified about that, but I think this is going to be big. The shield's not triggering the talent, plus auto aim not being as bad. Who knows? Let me know what you think down in the comments. But I think it's time for me to finally head out of here. Thanks for sticking around for almost 40 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'm not gonna be one of those people who asks you to like and subscribe, so I'm not gonna ask.